Evaluation of Environmental Risks, Ámbitos Andinos, December 2015. We can consider the environment as made up of the atmosphere, hydrosphere, geosphere, and biosphere, and the human environment that intersects all of the former. If we emplace an industrial facility in the environment, it generates both impacts and risks. Where a risk is a potential impact with a degree of uncertainty associated. The concept behind impacts and risks can be illustrated with a figure which is useful for their analysis. I will refer only to risks from now on, since impacts are simply a special case or a part of risk. It starts with a source, which produces an effect or aspect, which in turn reaches a receiver, either persons or ecosystem. All of this occurs within a medium or pathway that links the source and the receiver. The analysis considers 4 segments. The risk is evaluated at the receiver. Environmental criteria are mostly applied to the effect. Preventative measures are mostly applied at the source. Mitigation measures are mostly applied in the pathway. A couple of examples of analysis may be illustrated as follows. A factory, the source, produces emissions, the effect or aspect, which is transmitted through the atmosphere, the pathway, to a receiving group of people where the risk of illness is manifest. Alternatively, a process plant, the source, produces an effluent, the effect, which is transmitted through a river, the pathway, to a receiving fish population where the risk of mortality is manifest. The corresponding risk management measures can be applied at the source as prevention, in the pathway as mitigation, or at the receiving body as reparation or compensation. A comprehensive way of presenting the risk analysis and risk management measures is through a risk register. Step 1 is the identification of the inherent risk, as shown in the table. Each source is analyzed to predict what type of effect, pathway, and receiver are involved in the given risk scenario for that source. It is important to express the risk scenario as clearly and unambiguously as possible, because the severity of the consequences and the likelihood of those consequences must be estimated. A typical risk matrix is used to combine the severity and likelihood in the risk qualification or magnitude. Then the inherent risks or initial risks are assessed to determine whether they are within the risk tolerance levels, and if not, then risk reduction measures are applied to arrive at residual risk magnitude. This is within tolerance levels. For the purpose of project design and costing, the risk register can be arranged to show the environmental measures by effect or by source. This shows the list of measures applied at the source, in the pathway, or at the receiving body. You can contact Simon Catchpole at Ámbitos Andinos for more on this subject.